So, first things first, how are you?
Splendid. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
Wonderful.
So, before we dive into the album, I like to begin somewhere else. Do you have a couple of favorite movie soundtracks?
Sure, dozens of them.
Yeah.
Like at the moment or all time?
All time, let's go
All
for
I mean,
time.
favourite film soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Favourite film soundtrack. If you have to pick one.
Oh, not one. Could we pick more than one?
Well,
Can we pick two?
okay, let's go for two then. Two.
All right.
How about three?
Three is pushing it, I
Is
suppose.
it? Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Let's just
Yeah.
stick with two.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tricky
I'll
one.
go for The Village by James Newton Howard
Yeah, I love that.
and The Gladiator by Hans
Okay.
Zimmer and Lisa Gerard.
Well, I was
Did I
going to
steal
say
yours?
those two. Yeah.
Say
Were they?
I know. Yeah. Well,
Okay, so you can get one extra then if you had both of
fair
those.
enough.
all right. Well, in addition to those two, I'll have to say Danny Elfman's Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton's version. You know.
Of course, of course. Oh, it's really hard for me. The first record I ever bought was the soundtrack for Jaws.
Okay.
So when I was about 11 or something, maybe 10. So definitely Jaws. Second one might be the score from Witness, which really hit me when I first heard it. It was like electronica, but it was really amazing.
Who wrote it?
Ennio Morricone.
Morricone?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's
Yeah,
Witness.
Harrison Ford.
I didn't know
I
that.
bought it on vinyl, and
Wow.
it's amazing. And Blade Runner, of course.
Okay. Because you
You
say
slipped in three there.
I did. Sorry. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Which you say it kind of hit me, and with the two of you as well. What did movie soundtracks do to you when you first heard them, and especially with something like Gladiator? Or,
They make so much of the film itself. For example, the case with The Village, which is, I think, my desert island film. But half of it is the soundtrack, which is so otherworldly beautiful and fitting to the thematics and the storyline of the film, that it's just beautiful. Same goes with the Jaws, for example.
Yeah.
The music is such a big part of the film.
Massive part. It's well, Spielberg himself said it's the main character, didn't
Yeah.
he?
He did.
That theme. But it was like that. Funnily enough, it was when I bought Jaws. When I bought the soundtrack for Jaws when I was 10, the film wasn't actually out, so I hadn't seen the film, and I listened to nothing but the Jaws soundtrack every day, all day. So when I went to see the film, it was really weird because it was back to front. But what it proves is that, like Auri, again because it's part of us, is that you make your own stories and visuals to the music, which is what happened to me with Jaws. And then when I saw Jaws, it was like, oh, that isn't what I imagined. So
Yeah.
yeah.
then, well, you mentioned or you touched upon an interesting thing where kind of you create a narrative in your mind. So when you write music now, and especially looking towards Auri, was there a narrative you had in mind? Was there a story, a visual image in mind?
Sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I mean, everything was inspired by something.
Yeah, that's a way that I always, when I write songs for whatever group
Yeah.
or project, I never just jam. Okay, this
No.
sounds good. So what might this riff or melody be about? It's always the other way around. You have to be inspired by a certain theme, story, emotion, whatever. And after that, you start searching for the perfect melodies, chords, soundscapes
An
to
atmosphere,
complement that story that
That's
you
exactly
want to bring into the light.
That's exactly the same way for me.
And
as
there's
well.
nothing wrong with doing it the other way around.
No.
I know bands like Pantera did almost all of their albums in the rehearsal room, just jamming, and
Yeah.
it sounds brilliant. It's just not the way I function.
And
he
likewise, I don't
and
either.
her.
So am I right in saying that Troy, you started kind of this whole thing off with writing?
Not quite. No,
Okay.
it was. We all really wanted to work with each other on music, going way back to 2009, maybe 2009, 2010. We were big fans of Johanna, me and Tuomas, before we met her as well.
Right.
So we've always been hovering around, waiting for the moment to begin Auri. But definitely the seeds were sown with the song Aphrodite Rising, which me and Johanna worked on. I wrote the song for Johanna, for Johanna's voice.
Okay.
And that was that we placed that in a little box and went, we will use that sometime soon, hopefully. And it just sat there, but it was always waving at us and saying, I'm here. And we all knew Aphrodite Rising was there, and from that we eventually found the time, in between all of our commitments to other things, to take that out of the box and then add lots of other bits to go with it, so it wasn't so lonely.
So before we continue on this, for Tuomas and Troy, what was it about Johanna's voice then, or singing that captivated you?
Effortlessness, the freedom of the sound, the beauty of it, everything.
Yeah,
everything. It was never, not once forced.
Yeah, that's it. It always struck me as that it's a really rare thing, but the purity of it, and it's like an infinite undriven field of snow with sunlight blazing on it. The way you at least she shouldn't be in the room while put your big but plus she without sounding too mystical, she is the female voice of me and him, and our instruments are the male voices of her. So we're all. That if I could sing, if I was a woman, I would want to sound like Johanna.
Right.
That's because that's me. You know, that sound she makes is me.
So for
And
you,
vice versa.
Yeah, the music
you know,
that's
the
coming
music.
off of you
The
is the
music
music
offers,
that I
yeah.
hear inside me.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
really,
all of the harmony, all of the structures, all of that stuff. It's all from that.
was this immediately evident then, as soon as you kind of got to know each other, or did it come throughout the years? This kind of connection.
No, it was immediate. I think.
yeah. the
More or less
first-
it was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was immediate, which was why Auri was an instant plan.
Right.
It was like, we've got to do this. Yeah.
And Johanna, for you then, and I suppose you knew about Nightwish, but what did you think about the music? Back in 2009?
Yeah, like we talked, we've been fans of each other forever, ever since we got to hear the first note. The music that we've made, it's just instantaneously the feeling of home struck me. Listening to Troy's Madness of Crowds or Nightwish, it's something that's really hard to put into words.
Right.
That, when you meet somebody that you just met, but you feel like you've known them your whole life, they're that familiar. There is that sense of, it's easy to be with one another, and you share the same, thought patterns and loves in life. You appreciate the same things and really have the such way to look at things and appreciate life and such.
So I suppose this goes beyond the music alone. And then, did you have conversations before continuing on this album? Did you talk about kind of what you felt about the
all
album?
the time? Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spend a lot of time having adventures together. Anyway,
right.
we have parties and we go to places and have fun and drink fine wines and talk about music and life and all the things that we love. So it was natural that Auri, because it's part of us, we would talk about that. And it helped us crystallise our direction as well. To always remind ourselves that Auri's in the box over there, and we'll get it out at some point.
So can you take me through one of those conversations, especially in terms of the music? Because you say almost instantly it was you felt each other's music. It was kind of the same. So what were those conversations like?
I don't know, what do you think?
Well, it's so natural to us. It's like we don't even remember. It's like, of course you do it this way. It's so it's like second nature. We all know what to do, and I think it's like really hard for me, at least, to remember or try to pick
I
out the
can't
moments.
remember a special occasion because we do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's there all the time whenever we're together.
I think that's the
I can't really give you an example.
But in that sense, then, was this the easiest record you have made?
By a mile.
I think it was.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure, yeah, definitely for me.
yeah.
And it's such a rare thing to view music the same way, to feel about music the same way, and love the same sounds, the same approaches to music. I mean, that is something that I always stumble upon making music with other people, is that there is always this one thing or two or a plethora of things that we see differently about. And it's always about making compromises between other people about the end result. But here it was just, from the get-go, it was like, you know, this is our home and this is what it looks like, and we all agreed and we knew what it looked like. Like, it's really hard to explain, but, you know.
And from the moment of get-go until having the finished album in our hands, it was about 6 months.
Yeah,
of really relaxed recording too. It was not like we were doing it all the time.
We didn't have a deadline or anything. We didn't have a.
And 6 months, it was a really short time.
It was unbelievable. It was a veritable cyclone of creativity that we were hit by. Once we opened the door to it, it was like, whoa, right.
The songs just came,
it was just non-stop.
Recordings really easy, and mixing really easy, everything.
Plus, all three of us couldn't wait to work on it all the time. I didn't stop. You know, I was so driven by it.
Immersion is the thing.
Immersion.
And I love that state of mind.
Yeah.
No matter what project, but the fact that you eat and breathe
and when you look at the
24/7
and time's completely.
Time is meaningless, and everything you do during the day in your ordinary life has something to do with that. It's in the back of your head, itching all the time.
Constantly.
The ultimate immersion, and I just love that state of mind.
So do
Same
I.
here.
And Tuomas, am I right in saying that you especially were looking for this kind of state of mind? Because as Nightwish you were taking a break, and did you struggle a bit with kind of creativity, but this helps again?
I don't know what's the best way to put it, but the fact is that since finishing the Endless Form's Most Beautiful album in 2015, it took me until the realization of Auri album to get excited over writing stuff for Nightwish again. But I never felt like I was struggling because I didn't feel like I needed to do anything. I knew there was an off year coming and we had no schedule, no deadlines, so I just kind of let it be. Every now and then I would try and go in front of my keyboard, see if there's anything, and there wasn't really nothing. But then this Auri thing happened and I felt really excited. Okay, let's do this. And half a year later, when we got it finished, all heaven broke loose.
That's it.
Yeah, and ever since last October until this day, I've been heavily immersed with some new Nightwish stuff, and it feels brilliant. It's a bit of a relief that it's still there.